this is Lotus Comics Press. We're here live at Comic-Con Fan Days in Dallas. I'm talking to Alexis Cruz. You probably know him in Stargate, guys. This is amazing. This guy is awesome as far as his acting. Oh my gosh, let's get right down to it. How's it going?
It's going great. Love Dallas, loving the show. It's a lot of fun.
So, overall, first off, how's the convention going for you?
Awesome.
Yeah?
Dallas fans are amazing. This is probably my third time at this show, and I can't get enough of it. Like, it's just so welcoming, so warm, you know, and I get to meet my other colleagues too. We get to spend some time together, you know.
Right.
Very, very cool.
So what's been your favorite part about the Fan Days event?
The staff, you know, and I think most people don't talk about the staff, but this staff has really been really welcoming, really accommodating for us. They treat us like family, you know, and it's one of the reasons that I keep coming back to this show since I discovered it. You know, they're just amazing.
So I hear you have a graphic novel coming out.
Yeah, we're really proud of it. This is our labor of love. It's called The Unprofessionals, a Sociopathic Bromance. It's about two best friends, Jake and Leo. They're growing up in New York City, and they have this dream to become awesome ninja assassins. And while that seems kind of crazy, they want to teach themselves how to do it. So what they start doing is they actually steal jobs from professional hitmen, and then all hell breaks loose. Because, you know, everybody says live your dream, but when you want to be an awesome ninja assassin, you get into a lot of trouble.
So tell me, how did you get into comic books first off?
Well, you know, it was sort of always a side dream for us. My best friend and I, we were comic nerds too, you know. We grew up with Marvel and DC and all the usual stuff, right? I took my path as an actor. My buddy Colin Rankin took his path as a writer. His path was a little rockier, you know, but he just kept at it. He was tenacious, and he's a craftsman. And over the years, he really became one of the best writers that I've ever known. And I've been in the movie industry for a long time. I know writers. I work really closely with writers all the time. And this guy is just phenomenal. He'll do things in stories that you will never see coming, even though he'll tell you what's coming.
I can relate.
It's sick.
So on a personal note, you know, I know you're into comic books.
Yep.
You're into film, like you're saying. Writers, writing, obviously. What would you, for the next generation of kids that want to get into film, want to get into writing, want to get in the comic book scene, and maybe even want to eventually work for DC or Marvel, what would you tell them?
I say do your own thing, actually, you know. And any of these big companies, whether it's Marvel or DC or DreamWorks or whoever, they'll take notice. They'll catch on when you have the heart and the willpower to do your own thing. Don't try to copy anybody else, you know. And in terms of like history, learn your history, because if you remember in the film industry back in the 60s, people just picked up their 8mm, they picked up their 16mm, and they did it. And we got Easy Rider, and we got all these incredible, this revolution in independent films, because they didn't take no for an answer, you know. Follow that dream and just be tenacious. And you know what? Your first couple of things, it might suck. That's okay. You know, nobody expects it to be great out the gate, you know? If it can be, beautiful, but just keep at it, because every step you take is a step closer to your goal, you know? Don't take no for an answer.
See, and I agree with a lot of that. That's so awesome, man. I mean, I have so much respect with the graphic novel you're doing. Stargate was amazing, man. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
So how was that? How was that experience? What was your favorite experience?
Well, it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. Twice. Like, and that's a blessing, right? So I was 19. I booked the first feature film. Kurt Russell and James Spader, and I was 19. I was like, oh my God. Now, when I started it, I hadn't worked it for like a year, because I started when I was a little kid, right? And my agent called me up and he goes, well, I got this part for you. It's in a small, independent, low-budget sci-fi movie, and all your lines are in another language, and you only have 3 lines. And God bless him, you know, he really was trying to look out for me, and he was like, I think you should just pass. This isn't really worth your time, Alexis. You're better than that. And I was like, hell no, I haven't worked in like a year. Like, get me in it, you know? I'll do it. So I go in there, and I was just fresh out of high school, and I went to Performing Arts High School in New York. If anybody remembers the Fame School or remembers that school, that was a real place, and they were top-notch, you know, in our training. So I was like fresh on there, and my stuff was sharp. I got along with Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich really, really well, and Dean starts taking me around the studio, and he's showing me the art department, the concept art. He suddenly pulls out like the action figure that Mattel is making for us. And I'm like, low budget my ass. What did I just sign up for, you know? And it suddenly blew up into this big, huge thing.
Right.
Amazing. And we knew while we were shooting it that it was going to be something special, you know? And that's really rare. That's rare to happen in anyone's career.
I agree.
A couple of years later, they called me for the series, and I knew that nobody else was going to. At the time, there was sort of a bit of a caste system where movie stars didn't do television stars didn't do commercials. It's different now, but that's how it was back then. And I was like, screw that. You know, I'm gonna do both because I was already. I like working and I like doing this stuff. And plus, as a geek myself, I was always into sci-fi stuff. I was like, if I was watching this from the outside, how would I feel about a TV show being launched from a movie and there's nobody from the original thing in it? I'd be like, I'd be skeptical. So I was like, I want to help bridge that. You know, let me go ahead and do it. Now I got lucky because I started doing Touched by an Angel at the same time.
I remember.
Right?
You're really good at that.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
sir.
thanks. That was a flagship show for CBS, and I was a fan of that show too, you know, and I was just lucky I got to do both. That's why I wasn't a regular on the TV show. I was having to do both, you know.
I was kind of wondering about that.
And that was part of it, you know. So it was an incredible time in my life where I got to do like 2 awesome shows, both of them with a little bit of a fantasy edge to it,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So it was right up my alley, and we went on from there. And the cast of Stargate was just amazing. It was a big family. Like everything that you guys see on TV, all that chemistry, all that fun, 100% real. And I think in the long term, you know, when you think about that happening to an actor twice in his career,
Right.
that never happens. You know, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen again though. So stay tuned for whatever comes up next.
So just a couple follow-up questions. When you're off set, do you have any hobbies? Are you into music? Or, I mean...
I'm a gamer.
You're a gamer?
Yeah, I started...
What do you play?
Role-playing games, you know. I was a big D&D guy. I was Dungeon Master for a long time. I got into Warcraft for about like 3 years.
Nice.
I was Guild Master of a progressing rating guild.
Did you get to see Felicia Day?
Oh, yes. Well, no, we didn't play together online. We were on different servers. I didn't know about that until afterwards. And then I started watching the guild, and I was like, oh, my God, this is our group, you know.
She was really nice, man. And
Great.
And
I got to meet her yesterday for the first time, and she was
too.
really cool,
Me too.
right?
I mean, all of the guests here have been really nice. Bruce Campbell. I mean, name off the guests. They're legends, man. I mean, Stan Lee, Bruce Campbell, Felicia Day.
Lance Henriksen.
I know,
this year.
right?
I got to hang out with him, you know.
Dude,
Amazing. He's a
Powder?
legend.
Powder's my favorite movie of his, you know?
Great.
I know. So, I mean, you know, going back to, you know, just kind of personalizing for you, what's been the best overall experience that you've had with film? I mean, I know that sounds kind of a repeat question, but on a side note, I mean, there's got to be a genre of the best experience or best moment in film that you've possibly had working with these people.
I
know that's a tough question.
You know, I've had a really long career, and there's been so many. Like I've done a lot of drama, I've done some comedies, I've done the genre stuff. You know, probably maybe at heart though, sort of this singular moment. I did a mini series for CBS a while back called The Streets of Laredo, and it was the sequel to Lonesome Dove, Larry McMurtry's series, and it was an all-star cast, but one of the people on it was Sam Shepard.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And Sam Shepard, in case you guys don't know, is a theatrical legend. Like, he wrote all of these amazing plays that are now classics. Like, every actor studies these plays, and that's how we learn. And when I was in school, you know, we would be studying, you know, American Buffalo and all these other things that he wrote. He was a legend for us. I get onto the set, and he's playing, you know, I get to work with him right there very intimately.
How is he?
Awesome. Awesome. We would take our smoke breaks together. Him and Sissy Spacek actually would invite me. They're, Alexis, come hang out with us. And I'm like, kidding me?
That guy's awesome.
I'm hanging out with Sissy Spacek and Sam Shepard. I'm like, I studied your plays. You know? And I think, you know, that really informed everything about me as an actor going on, because it also told me sort of professionally and on the side too that you can be one of these craftsmen and you can be a living legend. And that became my role model, and still be cool.
That's
and you can take new people under your wing.
That's very
and
cool.
Teach them, and by encouraging them, they become better, and you share that love. of the craft, you know?
That makes sense. It totally makes sense.
It makes everybody better.
Well, one follow-up question, the last one we have, and I know, thank you for your time today, but you do comic books.
Yeah.
What's your favorite superpower? And if you had one, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Teleportation?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I grew up on the X-Men.
Me too.
Right?
Me too.
Nightcrawler, I always sort of felt an affinity for Nightcrawler. And then as I would get older, you know, and I was always doing different projects, I felt like I was being pulled in different directions, and I'd be like, man, if only I could just bamf from one place to another, right? And I do so much traveling, I'm like, man, if I didn't have to take a plane, or, and the other one that's sort of related is Jamie Madrox, the Multiple Man. I was like, can I just make like 12 of me to just go out and do different things, you know? And as an actor, you know, we collect experiences so that we can portray them in different ways. So I love collecting memories and all these experiences, and if I could just pop myself into 5 different people.
That would be totally awesome, man.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
This is Lotus Comic Express. This guy's amazing. Do we have any fan sites we can go to support you?
Yeah. www.sociopathicbromance.com. That is for our graphic novel, limited edition. Come check it out. You can download it, or you can order the limited edition from us. You can also find me at just Google Alexis Cruz, because for me, for websites, personally, I'm a social media guy. I'm not really experienced at it, but I like to interact with my fans. So you can hit me up on Facebook. I've got a blog site as well. My Facebook is Facebook/AC Station. Find me there.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again for your time.
Thanks a lot.
This is Lotus Comic Express. Mr. Cruz, guys. Come check him out. He's a phenomenal actor, obviously. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.